All right, everybody. So Jonathon Brooks is officially out for the rest of the season with a torn ACL. Now, this news was made official by Pete Thamel. He's been dropping a ton of news for NCAA sports, so he's pretty reliable. This really sucks for the young man, Jonathon Brooks. I'm obviously a big fan about this, so we're gonna be talking about this in the video today. But I just recently did have a live stream where I was talking about this, so if you were out there, really do appreciate you for coming on out. Probably going to be talking about a few of the same things, but just want to get this out for some of the other people that weren't there and weren't going to see that video. Also, I was just waking up, so we'll be a lot more collected in our thoughts today. So if you like the videos, drop a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and then comment your thoughts down below about Jonathon Brooks missing the rest of the season. This is going to suck. Might potentially get him come back to school after rehabbing, so we'll see. But we're going to talk about that right now, so let's hop right on into it. And so we're going to hop right on into it, and where else do you start other than just talking about how great Jonathon Brooks has been through the season so far? What he's done is honestly nothing short of exceptional. There's a graphic, I'm pulling it up right here. I told you I was going to be more collected, but I'm not. When you're talking about how good of a season he was having, these are underclassmen running back. Now, he is a redshirt sophomore, so he's draft eligible. But these are underclassmen running backs at the University of Texas. And that's their rushing yards. Now, he did finish the night with 139 rushing yards. He probably, when you combine the receiving yards, he probably has the most. Now, maybe Bijan Robinson might have the most. Maybe he might edge him out there. But Jonathon Brooks has been anything and everything more that you could have ever hoped for. That you ever could have. Like, somebody like me who had him at Bijan level expectations, he's met and surpassed them. It sucks losing Jonathon Brooks. It's going to suck, but is it going to hurt Texas to the point where we're just going to lose a bunch of games and we're done? Season is done for. No. And ironically, because I think that Jonathon Brooks being injured might be a good thing for Texas. What are you saying? What the hell? I know that's what y'all are thinking right now. Look, I'm a Jonathon Brooks fan. You're not going to find a bigger Jonathon Brooks fan than me. I know there's somebody out there claiming to be a Jonathon Brooks fan club president. No, that's me. I am that guy, okay? Now, that being said, I think Jonathon Brooks' success running the football tempts Steve Sarkisian into trying to become he tries to pretend like he's Michigan, for lack of better words. He tries to think that he's got this offensive line that's going to be able to go out there and dominate, just intimidate other teams, impose their will, and we're going to be able to dominate, and Jonathon Brooks is going to run out the clock, we're going to run the game, we're going to run away with a 3-point lead, or 3-score lead. But that doesn't happen. What happens? Teams know that we'll run the football. They stop the run. They get the ball back. They score quickly. It compounds. And then, oh crap, before you know it, Texas has given up a 17 to 21 point lead. And this, in my opinion, is one of the best sets of numbers that goes and shows what I'm talking about right here, okay? When we don't have an 8-point lead, when we're down, when we only have a 1-score lead, or we're losing or we're tied, Texas is extremely balanced. Balanced to the point of there's only one play difference. We've had 222 pass plays when in that situation versus 223 rush plays. 84, so it's very even in the play percentage, but the first downs is extremely lopsided. 63.6% of our first downs come on those pass plays. 11 touchdowns, same as the other one. 8.8 yards per attempt. Here's the difference. You look at the numbers. I was racking my brain. I'm like, what is going on with Texas? Are we just not efficient in the fourth quarter? Are we just not efficient? The efficiency numbers are the same. First quarter, second quarter, third quarter, fourth quarter, first half, second half. Whatever you want to do, It's the same. The number that's not the same is the first down numbers. You look at how even those and how balanced those numbers are. Balanced in a bad way, 38 first downs to 37 first downs with a 2-score or more lead. Now, 8 points is not a 2-score, but you get the point. With an 8 or more point lead, when we start to actually get ahead of teams, we choose a lot less pass plays, we run the ball a lot more, and we have a lot less success. We experience less first downs. I think that is telling. That's telling us, hey, look, hey, Sark, stop throwing the football. Or stop throwing the football, right? You need to throw the football more often. Something that I just... whoopsies. Here, hold on a second. There's a very important part of this picture that I really want y'all to pay attention to, okay? So let's just look at what this picture shows just at the face of it, okay? And let's go ahead and, together, let's look and dissect this, okay? Xavier Worthy, 10 receptions, 137 yards. TCU is 16 receptions, 144 yards at this point. Worthy himself is almost out-receiving. He's only 7 yards behind the TCU football team. It is a 26-6 score in the third quarter with 1 minute and 50 seconds left, 2nd and 10. He had just received his last football. His last football had just been received. He had gotten his last target right there. With 1 minute and 50 seconds left in the third quarter. 26-6 ball game. As you know, the game finished 29-26. So after this point, when we stopped targeting Xavier Worthy, who was behind Jonathon Brooks, who just lost, our second best player of the game, I want to be very clear, we had not lost him up to this point, which goes to what I was saying earlier. We get tempted into doing things that we should not be doing. We are not Michigan, Steve Sarkisian. We're not. You don't got the run blocking offensive line for that yet. Keyword, yet. We're going to continue here. Xavier Worthy. Not a single target after this point. And what happens? TCU outscores Texas 20-3 from this point forward. When we start trying to run the football and play complementary football, doing this crap. Yeah, we're just very unprofessional right now, but whatever. Doing this crap right here. We're going to need to pass the football a lot more. This is one area where I do actually think Jonathon Brooks being injured could end up helping Texas. Because maybe, just maybe, we end up, stop doing this, trying to play complimentary football crap. Because I agree with playing complimentary football under 99% of circumstances, but you know what? This is not those circumstances, Sark. Your best, when you just look at it, okay? There's pass blocking, there's run blocking, there's running backs, there's wide receivers. We have NFL running backs. Check that off the list, okay? We have NFL wide receivers, receiving options. Check those off the list. We have NFL pass blocking options. Check that off the list. We don't have NFL run blocking options. That is still on the list. So why are we using that the most to try and put away games? At this point, I understand that we want to be physical. We want, Steve Sarkisian talks about how it's about the physicality of the game, right? It's like Alabama. He wants to pull an Alabama on them. He wants to go out there and he just wants to run that ball down their throat the last drive of the game. Well, the problem is when people figure out that all they have to do, and it's really easy to say all. It's hard to tackle Jonathon Brooks, and we're going to branch off this in a second because there's some ridiculous things being said about a TCU player. But All they had to do was stop Jonathon Brooks. They didn't. Jonathon Brooks won that game for us. He put away the Alabama game for us. And we haven't been able to see that after that. And this is not to Jonathon Brooks' fault. Because all year I've heard what a great pass blocking offensive line this OL is. They're just absolutely amazing. They're gonna dominate teams in the pass blocking area. No, they're not. I mean, this is one of the best pass blocking teams in the nation. They're not that way in the run blocking. I'm not trying to sit here and just talk bad about offensive linemen. I know talking bad about offensive linemen is almost like a taboo thing to even talk about and say. But the reality is, their run blocking has left stuff to be desired. When you're not getting pushed on the run game, that's a problem. It is what it is. I'm gonna call a spade a spade. I'm not gonna sit here and blow smoke up people's ass and tell them it's rain when somebody's pissing on them. No, I'm gonna be like, yo, there's a dude standing above you taking a piss. You might want to move. So, offensive line needs to get better to be able to start doing that right there. But pass blocking offensive line, where we're better at, and we give our quarterback more time, like you saw that they pointed out, Quinn Ewers had all the time in the world on this throw. Yeah, he's kind of had a lot of, almost dropped an F-bomb, kind of had a lot of time back there. Well, we're a lot more successful, namely getting first downs, which is a massive part of playing football. So, all that to say, yes, Jonathon Brooks, we might be improved in the fact that Steve Sarkisian might have to pass the ball. He might not have a choice. I don't think Steve Sarkisian is so stupid that if we're not getting first downs, right, he's not just going to hand the ball off to Cedric Baxter time and time again and run us to a 3-26 point loss. Oh, well, I was just trying to run Cedric Baxter all day long. No, he's not going to do that, okay? If Cedric Baxter is not having success, guess what's going to happen? Cedric Baxter's not going to run the football often. It is what it is. But on to that tackle. It's hard to tackle Jonathon Brooks. Really is. I don't think that was a dirty hit. People, Texas fans, y'all need to stop saying it was a dirty hit. I don't think there was anything clear. I've watched that run maybe 20 times now. Probably 19 times too much. I did not see anything malicious on that hit. People can say, oh, he had his leg in an arm bar. Oh, he twisted his leg. He twisted his ankle. You see that twist, the twist. The fact that 90% of the people that were sitting there saying, oh, it was a dirty hit, were thinking it was an ankle, and then, oh, it turns out to be the knee. Might that be an example of you don't know what the hell you're talking about? This is, I think it is extremely, I'm trying to find the right word, because there is a right word. It's just, it's ridiculous to think that a defensive player on TCU, I'm not even going to try and talk about how good he is, if he's a bad defender, a good defender, a bad tackler, a good tackler. Not even going to try and talk about that because I don't know. I'm not going to try and talk about something that I don't know. But what I do know is Jonathon Brooks is one of, if not the best running back in college football. Well, it's pretty damn almost, if you were the defender, that would be a pretty cocky thing to sit there and say, you know what? I'm not only going to tackle this guy that's been forcing the most missed tackles of any running back in college football, I'm going to injure him. I'm going to purposely grab his arm and leg and arm bar him. No, the reality is he's literally trying to do anything by any means trying to get the tackle. Because this is was one of the hardest players in all of college sports to tackle. It's just that simple. He was just trying to make a tackle. Now, what does Texas do? I mentioned that we could actually see a positive of this. It's time to move on. It's time to move on. Close the page on the Jonathon Brooks book for 2023 season. Is the season over? No. Stop whining and crying like the season's over. It's not. It's time to just move on to the next weapon. Move on to Adonai Mitchell. Move on to Xavier Worthy. Let me ask you this. I did just say this earlier, but Jonathon Brooks, he might have put the game away for Texas, but to say he won the game, which I did earlier, he put the game away. I should have said that. To say that he won the game, that's really unfair to guys like Jatavian Sanders, who had a great game versus Alabama. Adonai Mitchell, who had a great game versus Alabama. Xavier Worthy, who had a great game versus Alabama. Quinn Ewers, who had a great game versus Alabama. Offensive line, who had a great pass blocking game versus Alabama. Didn't let them touch our quarterback hardly any times, if any. It's time to go just play football. That's all that happens. When you get an injury, you move on, and you take your lumps. Now, taking your lumps doesn't mean taking a loss necessarily. It just means filling in a hole. We got Cedric Baxter, who's one of the most talented running backs of all to come in the college football in the last recruiting class. Jaden Blue, who's probably that same level running back. He took a year off, and the recruiting services massively knocked him down. He's got speed, and then on top of that, all he's got is a little bit of vision and a little bit of balance after contact balance. This is a guy that's 6 foot and 192 pounds, but can run through tackles. Oh, and by the way, he can catch a football. So it'll be interesting to watch how the offense changes without Jonathon Brooks. Hopefully for the better, but that'll be something that we're just going to have to sit back and watch both together. So, all right, everybody, hope you all have a great day. I know it's not going to be too great when you hear Jonathon Brooks is out for the season, but it is what it is. Like I said, it's football. You're going to have to move on, and it'll be interesting to watch. Does he go pro? Does he stay in college football? We'll have to see with that. But all right, everybody, hope you all have a great day, and we'll have more updates on the ladder later. Not ladder, but on all that injury stuff and whether or not he comes back or not. All right, everybody, yeah. Hook!